The New Testament establishes the new covenant. You have street ministry, you have church and the church in Acts, and then all the rest of it helps set the doctrine of what you should do and what you shouldn't do. Some people think that we are under the law of Moses, but the New Testament, it says we're not. Now, they have some verses, they have some good points, and I'll get to that. You are under two commandments: love God, love your neighbors yourself. You do that by spending quality time with God and each other. Whatever gets in the way of that love is sin. So all these modern, like the pleasure sins, the sex, lust stuff, that outside of a marriage, including porn. Porn is a massive problem. The partying, recreation, drugs, and all this stuff. That's a massive problem. It's blown up so much now. Um, like playing too much video games, too much social media. Your life is out of balance. You're not building a life of love with God and with each other. You're just sitting there pleasing the flesh. And these things will soak up your time, energy, money, and love. So you base sin off of that. Whatever robs you of that love, peace, and joy that you feel when you do the two great commandments, that's how you know what sin is. Now, that doesn't mean you can never drink or anything, but that's a different topic. So, so what about the law of Moses? The law of Moses, besides the Ten Commandments, the rest had to deal with what had to deal with them, the Israelites, what they were going through. So, for instance, part of the law is going to use the bathroom outside of the camp, dig a hole, go to the bathroom, and cover it up. Well, that's law. If you want to live the law, then you have to do that. You don't do that because why? Because law, man is not made for law, but the law is made for man. It's going to make sense. The law is going to make sense. So that's why, like the pleasure sins, it makes sense. You party, you're not going to want to go to church. You're not want to go to bed on time and sleep properly. You're going to have fun, and it's not going to satisfy. It's going to you want more and more because it's not doing it for you like it was in the beginning. That's one of the things that they don't tell you about that sin. Sin sucks the life out of you. The more you do it, the older you get, the less fun it is. The more addictive it is. Where love's just the opposite. The more you do it, the better you do it, the more it grows. The more you love, you're just like, this is where it's at. The love, the peace, and the joy. So that's where sin comes in with that. Now, the Ten Commandments, like stealing, lying, all this stuff, that is part of it. You can't sit there and say you love your neighbor if you're stealing from them and dragging them to court and bearing false witness. That's going to definitely come in between you, peace, love, and joy. It's not going to work out if you sit there and break the Ten Commandments. Now, the Sabbath is different. The Sabbath is about rest. That's the most important thing. Don't work all the time. Take a break. That's what the heart of the Sabbath is. And we see this with when God made the earth and the universe and all everything. He worked 6 days. On the seventh day, he rested. That's the standard. And the New Testament helps establish that. It's not about this specific day. It's about rest. The man is not made for laws. Laws are made for man. So if you could sit there and make a huge piles of lists of laws in a sense, if you want to call it sin law, like, all right, we got to have a law for each individual drug, each individual law that's against man's laws, because you got to pay man's laws as well. So you can get this huge list, but keep it simple. Love God, love your neighbor as yourself. Anything gets into that, that's sin. Jesus was asked about divorce. He was sitting there saying God established it with Adam and Eve, they became one flesh. So don't separate what God has put together. And he says, so divorce is sin except for sexual immorality. But Moses allowed divorce because of the hardness of their hearts. And so if you sit there and take a lot of those laws, like the discipline laws of death penalty and stuff like that, it would be complete madness. things are so bad now. People's hearts are so hard, shockingly hard now, that you would make France's revolutionary time where like the streets were flowing with blood, with all the guillotine stuff. It would make that look like child's play today. There was a thing in the Old Testament, one of the laws is like if your kid is not, if he grows up and he doesn't want to work, he wants to party, then you got to drag him to the courts, and if he doesn't change his ways, he's convicted. You got to stone him. You can't do that now. If you did that, imagine you do that now, you'd be like 50% of all 20-year-olds. All right, sending you a ticket to heaven right now. You're out of here. That's not, there's just way too much hardness. You don't have good leaders. The leaders, they don't even know how to love God. Don't even know how to love God. It's really simple. Spend quality time with Him in His Word, in prayer, in worship. Sing worship out loud every day. Sing worship out loud every day. Do it. Watch what happens. You see they're stressed out, go to God with worship. Yes. You can be raging mad, and you put in that worship, instantly, tears of joy. God's got you. That's how it's done. And when you get a taste of that love, you're going to love God's ways. You're going to have understanding. With all your learning, get understanding. These laws, they got to make sense. They got to make sense. You can't just sit there and say, oh, I'm a law keeper, when there's piles of them that have nothing to do with us today. And we're too hard-hearted for the rest of them, for a lot of it, in fact. So, yeah. So it's not complicated. It's not, just sit there and focus on love. Things are so bad now that this has got to be God's doing. God is setting something up. It's like we are going through that 400 years like slavery the Israelites did before Moses came along. That's what this looks like. How in the world do you not know how to love God? How in the world do you not know how to love your neighbor as yourself? Not only do you not know how to love your God, you have no clue how to love your neighbor as yourself. You don't even know their names. But we're going to change that. We're going to start a revival.